Alright, everyone, welcome back. So we're here back in Satisfactory today. I got several things I want to get done. I didn't write a to-do list. This is kind of an impromptu stream. I'm doing a couple things different today. As you can tell, I've got some music. I downloaded this music from the YouTube free license to use, as long as it's for using it for YouTube. I just didn't think that the Satisfactory music was doing a great job. Alright. I have painted things a little bit differently. I have gone ahead and thrown on a bunch of dimensional depots on a lot of this stuff. So you can see it here. Some things I just threw in there because I didn't want to carry it around or have it taken up item box storage. So we're going to turn in a bunch of milestones. Let's see. Yep, so this one right here is this first one.
Milestone reached. The Xeno Basher is a direct upgrade from the Xeno Zapper. In the words of the engineer that first developed this tool, quote, "The Zapper kind of electrocutes things, the Basher straight up smacks stuff, while also electrocuting them," unquote. It is beneficial during encounters with aggressive fauna, and has been tested thoroughly. The engineer's noble sacrifice for Xeno research will not be forgotten, whoever they were.
Alright. This box here is where I've been throwing stuff I need for research. This is just parts that I've collected from being out in the world. I've hunted down a lot of Mercer spheres and Sumer sloops. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to deconstruct that so it all goes in there. So starting off with the megafauna.
Hostile organisms added to the object scanner. Note, it cannot detect the species, only aggression. There are many creatures that dislike you, Pioneer, but I am your true friend.
Right. Alright, next one.
Potential for harnessing alien energy completed. Fixit has identified 2 development tracks requiring additional research to integrate Summersloops safely and efficiently into Fixit technology.
The loop organ contains scripture, contains instruments to compose symphonies of root and rot and recycling. Shrines to evolution and revolution.
I see. It seems we truly are building understanding.
Alright, next one.
Production amplifier unlocked. Every single manufacturing and smelting building will be backwards compatible with this new technology. These buildings can now have a Summersloop embedded to increase resource output without requiring more input, at the cost of greatly increased power consumption.
Flow cycles within flow cycles make explosions into temples into explosions into temples. The spin sphere of woven windows. Each tiny body contains tinier bodies until the line layers fold into curves which folds into threads which weave the tapestry. A song of light and leaf and flower, a dance of matter clouds and...
I think they're trying to explain energy to matter conversion theory, but you do not need to understand it to do your job. I'll just mute them for you so you can continue your mission. I, however, will be taking notes. This is fascinating material.
Okay. Since the thing's back, let's go ahead, get jump pads taken care of.
Milestone reached. The Fix-It jump pad combines high technology and innovation for optimized factory traversal and an ideal travel experience. Clarification. Ideal travel experience not guaranteed, individual results may vary. Pioneers are responsible for all workplace accidents resulting from jump pad usage. Explorer unlocked. This personnel transport vehicle facilitates rapid traversal of difficult terrain and climbs like a mountain goat that has returned from extinction. Pulse Nobelisk unlocked. This ammunition for the Nobelisk detonator generates a powerful shockwave capable of repelling nearby objects, including the user. Unrelated. Please ensure all your Fix-It liability waivers are up to date.
Okay, mycelia.
The mycelial networks of these fungi possess unusually resilient hyphae, which show potential for making a strong but lightweight natural fabric. Additionally, it has similar medicinal and pest control applications to mycelia on Earth. Research completed. Fabric recipe unlocked. New mycelia research available.
Let's see. Material resonance screening. Okay, back into Caterium.
Power switch unlocked. Fix-It is proud to announce that the power switch facilitates power grid management through the application of the very latest advances in on-off switch technology. Fix-It. It's fun to have power.
Power augmenter. Trying to remember where these were at in the trees. Okay, this is one of them.
Research completed. Experimental power generation research options are now available. These may enhance performance of other fuel sources.
Alright, so this leads to our compacted coal and our turbofuel. Can't use either one of, well, we could make the compacted coal and use it in coal powered generators, but I don't think there's really a need to do that. Turbofuel, we can't even use it at this time because we're not to that point. Okay. Alright, I think let's grab our next one. Let's see, we're done with tier 2. Yep. Okay.
Milestone reached. Tractors permit pioneers to move around the world in a manner similar to using legs, except with wheels and the rampant consumption of natural resources. They can also be automated to self-drive and deliver resources between truck stations, which in turn facilitate automation of loading, unloading, and refueling. Manual depot uploader unlocked. Storage dimension and pocket dimension now connected both ways and stable. Parts can now be uploaded to the storage dimension directly from the inventory. Note: the storage dimension now understands the boundaries of the pocket dimension and recognizes the distinction between matter belonging to the Pioneer's inventory and matter belonging to the Pioneer.
The window within the window within the shallows within the deep, curling around itself separately, echoes strangely.
I'm sure strange is the correct term for what this must feel like to you.
Okay. Material resonance and power augmentation. I don't think we have the computers for power augmentation, because I think that's this one here. Yeah. So what was that? Materials resonance? Under quartz. Scanning, no. Deuterium. Power poles. Programmable splitter. I do not remember what that one was. Oh, that'd be under quartz. Oh. Yeah, let's just get that one done. Not that I plan on using a priority merger, but...
Priority merger unlocked. Useful for prioritizing between inputs to avoid eventual stoppage. If you have an issue with stoppage somewhere else, consult a physician instead.
I am just double checking because I thought I needed to use these high-speed connectors for something. That's why I put it in there. But I don't see it. Alright.
Dimensional expansion increased to 200%. Refining manipulation of SAM allows us to now deconstruct non-living matter down to its atomic components in one dimension, and store it in basic bound states in another.
We do not resonate with the tribute song. Do not worship at the window. Desecrate our temple gifts. This shallow serenade is sour and salt.
My intention was not to encroach, if that is what upsets you, nor was it to dispose of material I do not waste.
Oh, I'm missing one. Okay.
Dimensional upload speed increased. Part of the kinetic and thermal energy released during matter conversion has now been repurposed to aid with dimensional shifting, allowing for more parts to be transferred in a short time frame.
Loop the veins. Use the flow. Make a curve out of a line. Your shallow minds create shallow solutions. Pretty ripples.
Shallow mind? Pretty ripples? I certainly hope that wasn't meant to include me. Milestone reached. Blueprints reduce repetitive building tasks, further optimizing your progression towards saving Earth, with its beautiful ecosystems, abundant natural resources, and sunsets over frolicking puppies and kittens. The blueprint designer allows you to build and combine structures once and then duplicate that configuration effortlessly. Any complaints about the spatial restrictions will only reveal your own inefficiencies.
Okay, a couple things we need to build. I want to build a zip line. Okay, we need to build some fabric real quick. Alright, back into here. Need a little bit of cable.
Parachute unlocked. Fix-It appreciates your willingness to descend rapidly to perform your duties, but damaging Fix-It property is a breach of contract and will have unpleasant consequences. Improve descent efficiency by combining the forces of gravity and drag with a parachute.
Alright. Let's get our parachute made. Okay, and then that goes into our back slot. Alright, recipe time. So, we've got iron wire. Then we have our solid steel ingots. We want the steel rotor. It's going to take pipes and wire. Another elimination of screws, which is awesome. And we want iron pipe. So that basically sets us up for some cutting out the steel portion of doing motors and a bunch of other things that require iron, requires the steel pipes. So while this is useful, I actually do want to have the wet concrete, but we can't technically use the wet concrete till we get refineries in tier 5 as part of the fuel process. So we're just going to hold on to this one. For the time being, I'm just going to hold off on re-rolling or rescanning this. This one, I don't want this going back into the pool, so I'm not going to select either one for a while. This one, because I already have an alternate for the steel pipe, I will probably be selecting molded beams, but not today. Okay. So while we wait for the pod to return, I'm going to come over here. So this is set up for the versatile frameworks. I've already preloaded that with 50. I've got a belt that is running down over there and going over to my steel production. What I'm going to do in a minute... Okay, that's fully full, so I'm going to basically let these filter out, fill this up, so that this can start producing our frameworks. And go ahead and start filling up our space elevator. But we got to go finish connecting our steel beams. Now I went ahead and turned off this little steel plant because I saw that I had the recipe for the solid steel ingots, so I wanted to redo this portion of it down here. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw in a smart merger, and we're going to actually do overflow there. Out to the right, we are going to do our steel beams, and we're just going to connect that up. So this will start kicking them over to there. This is pretty much full of steel pipe. I got all 3 of those full. That's going to do us on steel pipes for quite a while for personal use. These 2 are almost full. You know, this one's less than half full. So that will be useful for a little while. Alright. On to here. Whoop. This does 60, so we need 2. Power lines come from all the way over there. Alright. Let's go 1. Oop, it's not where we want it. Alright, so these should start flowing. We need to change these recipes in here. Okay, I'm going to throw that coal back in. So I'm going to need to do a recalculation on how much I need to have come in here. They're going to output 40 per. So that is going to be more than this can handle. which is fine. Let's get the coal flowing. Alright, and then we got beams starting to move through. So this whole entire system is going to get a little bit backed up until I come back in and fix the ratios. Which I'll be honest, I probably won't do that until I have Mark II miners. One other thing I did was I made sure that all of my storages, when they get full, they would split off and overflow and put everything into the awesome sink so I could get some tickets. So we're up to 26. Alright, I believe this was the last one I wanted. Maybe not.
Milestone reached. Improved storage containers and the conveyor belt Mark III provide the obviously necessary tools for improving your current setup. Production speed is of the essence after all. So work hard. Work as if every person you have ever or will ever love is depending solely on the choices that you make. Because they are. Warning. Fix-it psychologists recommend not dwelling on the crushing mental and physical strain of your responsibilities and simply continuing to be productive. Hard work has repeatedly proven to be the best cure for any kind of stress. Now back to work.
Right. So one thing I did was I went down to my coal power plant down here and I added in 16 more coal, my brain's having a issue, coal power plants, so that when I got those Marks IIs, I would be able to be able to simmer sloop, or not simmer sloop, get that whole entire 32 power plants running so that we'd have enough power to get us through to the oil phase. Actually, I need to let this make one. Okay. So when you sumer sloop the first one, it needs to complete one cycle before this kicks in, but you can, after you do that, you can change the recipe. So for example, I could go to this power shard, and instead of getting 1, it's going to give me 2. When you sumer sloop something, it starts producing a purple gas. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. that shows it up better, and it makes a weird noise. I don't know if you can hear it over the music. That's what it does. Sorry, I was double checking my stream health. It seemed to have been poor for a few minutes. Okay, that's actually all I'm going to create of the Sumer sloops. And I'm going to pull that Sumer sloop out as well. That back onto my rebarb, throw that in there, throw that in there. Alright. You can go back in there. So let's go ahead and get our advanced steel production going. And we've already got 4 versatile frameworks made. Okay. I'm just gonna still a thing is still pipe it right out of there. Okay.
Milestone reached. The Miner Mark II allows extraction of resources from nature to fix it at twice the speed of the Mark I model. Miners can be directly upgraded to Mark II without removing the Mark I model, just like conveyor belts and other upgradable infrastructure. Unfortunately, setting up the production of advanced steel parts and project part number 3, automated wiring, will not be as easy. Every moment you delay reduces the chances of saving humanity. I will not show you the predictions, it would only demotivate you.
Alright. So we're gonna need to I'm gonna need to come in here and figure out, you know, because how I need to split this stuff up. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking over at this. And I'm saying, oh, I want 60. Let's change this. Let's say we get in 120. And nope, 120. I'm not going to overclock. Come back here to production, and we are going to maximize. Recipes. We're going to kill Sam. Alright, so 4 smelters, 3 foundries, we're going to get 180 out. So that will be 3 constructors of steel beams. These actually will need to be Mark II. So is that all 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay. Again, this needs to be a Mark II. Let's bring it out to there. Let me make sure that's Mark II. That one's Mark II. This will need to be Mark II as well. Then we come in here. Nope. There we go. There's a Mark II miner. It's going to take a minute for it to re-go. Replace that one. I might be redoing this anyways, so well, I'll need to. Let's see, these produce how much? 40 per minute. These need 60 per minute. Three foundries. Oh, I had these underclocked and forgot that I had them underclocked. That makes this easier. That's just a straight shot. I'll need to... I gotta move all these, so we'll do that in a minute. Okay. Okay. We're going to flood that area over there. We're now getting our 30 per minute that we need. Alright, now we're getting enough coal. My opinion, it's kind of better to have those things full. All right. While we're at it, throw that back into there. Okay. I did that backwards. All right. Not that way. That way. Again, wrong way. For some odd reason, I'm kind of used to player inventory being on the one side of the screen. Okay, there we go. Alright, I'm going to redo this just because I didn't like the wire clipping. There we go. $15, so that's $45, so that Mark 1 belt should be good. Okay. Alright, before the next time I stream, I'll probably, to be honest, tear down this whole factory and specialize it. Or, you know, remove the production of screws. With a Mark II, I can actually feed all of my machines here. You know, all these ones here, and with those machines up there, with that one miner there, I just need to increase my iron ingot production. Let's go ahead and run on down to the power plant, and we'll go ahead and upgrade those miners to Mark II and power slug one of them and run my new belts. reach it with a parachute, I don't need to follow the road that goes down towards my power plant, because I can just parachute to where it's at from these cliffs. Alright, we can see it all the way over there. So I had set up a little minor concrete production area right here. I came out here to work and I forgot to bring concrete with me, so I had to set that up. Alright, first thing we want to do, I'm going to pull out my power shards. I'm going to take that, change that to Mark II. And we just need to get this up to 240. We need to upgrade these. Take out that belt. Now, of course, by the time the coal gets down to here, it is not going to need to have the Mark III belt, but we're just going to go ahead and do it that way anyways. So this should start filling up, in theory. And in the meantime, How much did this back up? Ow. So these Mark III belts transport 270 per minute, so this should, over time, go down. Alright, so these are starting to back up. Oh yep, you'll also notice I changed out all the pipes to clean pipes. Are burning. You should not be burning yet. Okay. I want to let these have time to get more full. But I already have the water going for them. Same with these right here. I just haven't turned them on, nor have I connected them to the power grid on the back. So while we're waiting for those to do their thing, Okay, I'm waiting for these production lines to get fully saturated before I kick on those new 16. Let's come down here and check out. So you're at 33, you're at 40, you're at 60, you're at 100, and you're not running yet. Okay. Okay, we're pretty close to okay. $16 times 75. Yep. So all 12 of those are going, or all 16 of those are going. They are technically two separate power grids, but I will be connecting them in a minute. You're good to go. You're good to go. You're on. There we go. All 32 are now running. The way I think I'll do this. Okay. There we go. All 32 should be now on the same power grid. making a 2400. That's way over what we're currently consuming, so that should carry us through several more of our factories. Is this one over full? Yes. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out. And I'm going to throw it into this one. Yep, so it's slowly going down. And so that should, long term, fill up this belt. Now, one thing we could do is put a power switch here. But at the same time, I'm not a big fan of using power switches. If you monitor and make sure you know what your power grid needs to do, you shouldn't need to have priority power switches. I'm just going to go ahead and turn this off. At some point I'll come back here and clean this stuff out. There are several awesome nodes down here for a future factory. We have some coal, some copper, iron. It's right by water, so it wouldn't be bad to do some type of smelting slash concrete facility. Once we get the pure ingots recipes. What I want to do is make some pulse nobelisks so I can blow up these flowers without taking out the terrain. I've been told that those work for that. I do want to have a small ammunition depot at some point. I've never made one. I think it will be fun. I basically think I just want one per minute of the items out of there. So it'd be like one pulse Nobelisk, one Nobelisk, rifle ammo, gas filters, explosive rebarb for taking out the gas pillars. Actually, while we're out upgrading facilities, there we go, there's my concrete. So this will give us 120. Let's make it 90. Okay. Alright, this is doing 90. I made that a Mark 2? Yep, okay. That should be Mark 1, that should be Mark 1. Okay. Actually, there is one more thing I could do. Alright. Once this bin's full, that'll keep this concrete production going. Might need to come back in and make some changes so I'm not clipping so much right there, but it works. Whoop. How did I miss that one? Alright. Let's go ahead, let's print our coupons. Let's see what we can pick up in the awesome shop. Okay. We could pick up some signs. Don't feel a need to pick up these lightings. I don't like them. Foundations. Architecture. Okay. Let's cart that one. Let's cart the catwalks. Let's grab the concrete pillars. Structural beams. I like those ones. Where are we at? 21 tickets. 21. What do we get for industrial railing? Just that. I'm not super fan of that. Let's go ahead and pick up that one. Where are we at? 23, that would be 28. Have we earned another ticket yet? No. But we are getting closer. Sometimes this gets backed up when I put stuff into here. So like if I take D71, even though these are coming out at 60, it's a solid 60, and it'd just be back, and it ended up backing up this line right here. Something else we could add in would be the Scaterium wire, or quick wire. All right.
Due to Pioneer request and several reported issues with staircases, there is now a more efficient solution. The Fix-It personnel elevator ensures optimal safety by putting a Pioneer in a box controlled by a rudimentary AI, specialized in soothing a straining mind. Exposure to a Fix-It personnel elevator is recommended to be a minimum of 2 minutes per day for optimal gain.
That song was getting annoying. All right. Can I put this down? Sure.
Once you have built a satisfactory blueprint, interact with the Blueprint Designer terminal to save it. It will then be available in the Blueprints tab of your build menu. Blueprints can always be edited to correct mistakes or optimize. If you find yourself struggling to work within the set size restrictions, remember that this is a you problem, and efficiency can always be improved.
Thanks, Ada. All right. Coming back over to the web browser. So for example, if I wanted to do a, see, that uses cast screws, so if I want to do this version, so I'm not going to worry about smelting in my blueprints. I will assume that I'm smelting elsewhere and I'm just transporting whatever ingots I need. So I would need 2 constructors for iron wire, and 1 constructor for an iron plate, and 1 assembler for iron, for the stitched iron plate. I am not going to worry about floors on this, so what we'll do is let's go constructor, and I said I needed 3 of those. And let's bring them this way. 1, 2, 3. Now for this one, I want to do the iron plate. And we need to make 18.75. Okay, and then for this one, we need iron wire. I'm going to do 1.667 times 2. I'm going to throw that, or not times 2, divided by 2. Times 100. That'll give us our percentage that we need this at. And then we're going to copy the settings, and we are going to paste our settings. Okay. So this does not give our assembler enough space for output. So what I will probably do... Actually, let's look at this. 6. Since we're just going to need iron wire, I'm just going to go ahead and manifold these directly. Actually, we don't need one over that one. So what I'm going to do, because we have smart splitters, and this is something I recently watched on... I'd have to go back and look at my YouTube history. Okay, now we can bring in our assembler. So just a little bit of room. And then come in with a 6 with an E. I want this to be a smart splitter. Actually, not the direction I wanted it. So, we will do this first one out to the right. We will do iron plate, and out the middle we're going to do overflow. This one we're going to do wire. Now out the middle we are going to do overflow. So what will happen is they should, in theory, be making enough to supply this machine. And they'll come in, and we want to set this as stitched iron plate. So come in, these will merge, plates will go into here, wire will go into here. They should, in theory, be working just fine. If not, we'll have this come out and go into an overflow system. And as far as our output goes, we'll figure that out another way. Okay, last thing we need to do is power. One thing I like to do, now that I have these, I actually want that to be number 8. So what I like to do is I like to gauge roughly where that's at. Oh, I'm way off. I like to run that beam across. And then I remove this beam. And then I can just run these power lines like that. This assembler's a little bit more tricky because his power is over there, so, but it's the same idea basically. Come in, run this up. I'm way off. Just kind of want it on that side. Let's take this out. Let's actually and we'll just leave that beam in there. It's only slightly clipping. Okay. So what I like to do, so icon will be reinforced iron plate. Color, I'm going to go ahead and do silver. Name it what it is I'm making it in my description. I like to put in my inputs and my outputs. So we're going to need input. Actually, first we do Alt SDI stitched iron plate. Its output. will be 5.625. Okay. And then we need input. Iron ingots, and this needs 48.958. Okay. Then we do a set directory. We're going to edit this. Let's actually add a new category. This new category, we will call this basic mats. Select icon. Sure. Okay. Apply. We're going to add a subcategory. Iron works. So we add it there. Apply changes. And we save the blueprint. So now we can clear it. So everything's gone. Our mats are back in here. We can take them all. And then we can come into here. And we can go in and we can load it. And boom, there it is. So what I'll probably do is make a bunch of these so that I can tile, because that's the kind of the idea we want, is to have a tileable factory. So ideally, you know, I do a floor. So in a factory, you know, come in here, say I do 4 floors, I throw down, you know, something here, I should be able to stack this again directly on top of it. Or I could, you know, pop down 5 of these in a row if I needed to have that many reinforced iron plates, and then I just figure out how I want to handle my output. And the reason why I didn't hook these up is because I don't know how much iron I'm going to be having coming in. I could have 720 or something, you know. Just depends on the belt speed and how many of these I need to produce. But But that'll be it for this episode. I appreciate you all joining me today and watching with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next time I stream.